Today I'm going to talk to you about how to maximize your home inspection process, and I'm going to get started right now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami and Miami Beach, and today I'm going to talk to you about how do you maximize your home inspection process. I know, it's not super exciting, but trust me, when you're in the process or you're thinking about buying a home, you are going to want to understand this process because it is one of the most important processes in the home buying process. But first, before I get started, if this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another update. I do put out new videos every week. Also, in the information box, use the link and download my free guide, and I'll add you to our weekly newsletter. Okay, let's get started. So one of the first most important things that you are going to want to do after you go under contract on a property is hire a home inspector to come out and check out the property. Now, just remember, a home inspection, we call them general home inspections because home inspectors are generalists, and you always have to keep that in mind. The report is going to be very long. It's usually 10, 15, 20 pages depending on the size of the property, and depending on the size of the property will also determine how long they will be out at the property inspecting the property. Some home inspection companies have one person, some send out a few guys for different systems within the home, but they're going out there to check out the main systems within the property and give you some information about the condition of those systems. If there's something that you're very concerned about, I would highly recommend that you get the specialist, the vendor for that system to come out and also give an opinion of that system. For instance, a roofer, an electrician, a plumber, maybe someone for the HVAC system. If there's a septic tank, you'll definitely want to have a septic inspection. So there are general inspections, and then from there you can go super detailed. It really depends on sort of your comfort level of home ownership and your expectation of what you want the condition of the property to be in when you actually close and then take ownership of that property. One thing that I always tell buyers is you have to go into the home inspection process. And this is one big key thing about maximizing that home inspection process, because you have to go into it with the proper expectations. For instance, if you're buying a property and it's a newer home or even an older home that has been well maintained by the seller over the years, some sellers take a lot of pride in home ownership, and you can tell over the years that even though it may be an older home, a lot of the systems have been well maintained because the sellers can show you that they're well maintained with records or information about the property, and they tend to know a lot about the systems within that property, and they've maintained that property over the years. Probably with that kind of inspection, you will have different expectations than an inspection where the property's not been well taken care of over the years. It's in horrible repair as it is now. Maybe a lot of the bigger systems have been neglected. That type of inspection is going to be completely different than a home that has been well taken care of over the years. So that's another way to maximize your home inspection, is just to understand sort of the expectation of what may or may not come up during the home inspection. Obviously, you always want to have a home inspection, no matter how well a seller has maintained the property or claimed to maintain the property. We always recommend to do a home inspection. And then one other thing about expectations. You know, if you are paying top dollar for a property, you are probably going to have a little bit different expectation of that inspection process versus a home that you're paying a little bit under market value or a little bit lower based on the condition of the home. And maybe in order to make that offer, the seller said, hey, we know these things are wrong with the house, and that's why we're willing to sell it at this price, versus someone who's claiming the house is in XYZ condition and you're paying top dollar for it. So understanding the condition of the property, also understanding the seller and their level of home ownership and maintenance and taking care of the property, and also understanding the pricing and where you have made your offer and you're under contract based on the condition of the home. So those are three big factors in maximizing your home inspection, and I think that will allow you to get the most out of your home inspection. And a few other questions that I think are just really helpful to think about as you're going through this process, reviewing all the reports and getting all of the opinions back are, if this was your home, is this something that you would have to fix right now? Is it something that you can live with? Maybe it's an older system, but it's not broken and you can live with it. Maybe it's something you have to fix because you have to fix it because of insurance. Is it a safety issue? Is it something that's dangerous to live with? Maybe it's an electrical issue that has to be addressed. And one other thing that I highly recommend that buyers do during the buying process, if the permits and the history of the work on the home over the years is really important to you, you should really check directly with the city and find out the permit history on the property. And there are ways that we can guide you to do that. But that is just one step that I highly recommend that buyers do during the home inspection process so that we can address any questions or concerns at that time. That is really the time to address those concerns. Title companies, they do something different with permitting, but the actual looking at the permit history, you want to do that during the home inspection process. And also, one last big tip is make sure you send out all of your insurance reports to your insurance agent so they can look over the reports and also address any issues or concerns that could create an issue for you to get insurance. You do not want to be all the way at the end of the transaction and have a problem getting insurance because there's something on those reports that creates an issue. Not only do we need to understand what could possibly be wrong with the property, but we also need to understand the cost of insurance and owning that property after you close. I'm very tedious with this process. I get it, but I just want our buyers to be happy at the end of the day. If you have more questions, I'm always here to be a resource for you, and I will see you soon.